And we're back. Third time's the charm, right? Preparing for the next day. One of the most important ways of um, having a really good start to your day is having a really good end to your day. Uh, so you want to make sure that you end your day on a positive note. Now, I don't like to watch violent movies late at night. I don't actually watch movies late at night at all. But I do love my action movies. I love Marvel. I love, I like psychological thrillers, but not just horror. And there is a big difference. It's the difference between What Lies Beneath, the movie with Harrison Ford, which is just a great psychological thriller, versus, Saw. That's just gross. At least in my not very humble opinion. So I try to avoid watching anything violent at night. And the reason is that I have such a hard time shutting my mind off that if I watch something that's violent or negative, and by the way, I do not watch the news. I will pull up like a news channel website and glance through the headlines and see if there's anything really important for me. But I don't typically watch the news because it's just so negative. So you want to start off by kind of ending your day on a positive note by consuming positive media. You also might want to take some time to reflect over your day and think about this. This is all on the Thrive Journal link, and think about: Am I reaching my goals? Am I on my way towards my goals? Am I starting to go sideways? For example, one of my goals is to start getting up early in the morning. And today I do know that that did not happen. I slept in for a good hour after I had planned to get up. So now I'm, kind of, as I'm getting ready for bed, now I'm like, okay, now why was I so tired? Why did I wake up at 2 in the morning and not able to go back to sleep? Is there something I need to change so that I can sleep all night? If you are ruminating about someone who bothered you during the day, I don't do this at all. Yes, I do. You might want to take some time to journal about it and kind of get it out. I am one of those people that if I don't express how I feel somehow, then it kind of gets worse. I actually tried that. I had someone say something really hateful and negative to me on Facebook. And it was over the most stupid stuff. I mean, it wasn't anything that I really should have taken offense at, but I was so shocked that this person was so vindictive. It was a bunch of people. It was a whole thread. And it wrecked my day. I let it wreck my day. I spent a day and a half trying to let it go away, and it just festered and festered and festered. Well, finally, I talked to a friend about it and said, this is something that happened. It really, really bothers me, and it shouldn't bother me. And once I talked about it, I was done. So I do keep a journal. In fact, I keep about 3. And part of that is just so that I can express to myself my feelings, my true feelings about things. I tend to stuff my emotions quite a bit. And so to have a safe place where I can express myself helps a lot. Also, if you journal, you can start thinking about, again, going back to, are you reaching your goals? Are you meeting your goals? Are you going sideways on your goals? What can you do to improve? What is happening that's making things not work out quite as well as you'd expected? How can you bring things back to center? You definitely want to make sure you've been drinking plenty of water. And then you might even consider taking some time to take a hot bath with lavender oil or Epsom salts or something that's going to just really relax you. And I like Epsom salts because they're magnesium, and magnesium helps you sleep. And one of the best ways to get at magnesium is actually absorbed through the skin in an Epsom salt bath. Um, also, I know some people that I've read a lot of comments about sleeping in your gym clothes. Now, I am absolutely a freak about wearing the appropriate clothes for the occasion. So I wear gym clothes to work out in. I wear pajamas or a nightgown to sleep in. I wear business clothes to meet with clients. I might wear jeans to go out with friends. I wear yoga clothes to go do yoga. I mean, I'm just very aware, and I don't sit and work barefooted. I wear shoes, and the reason is it just kind of tells my brain that okay, you're in your sleeping clothes and your shoes are off. It must be bedtime. Oh, you are in your running clothes and you're wearing sneakers. It must be time to work out. So if you wear your gym clothes to bed, um, it's like you're giving yourself these conflicting messages. Are we going to bed or are we working out? And yes, they're comfortable. Hopefully your workout clothes are comfortable. But for me, I don't like to sleep in them. They're actually too tight for me to want to sleep in. And of course, we want to make sure that we're getting plenty of sleep. Did you know that the average American does not get enough sleep? The average American only sleeps about 5 or 6 hours a day, and we require 7 or 8. And I am one of those. I only sleep about 5 hours a night, and I really do need 8 hours of sleep to be great. So, make sure that you are practicing good sleep hygiene. That means no electronics about an hour before bed, or use a blue light blocker so that you're not giving yourself the message that it's time to get up when you're trying to calm down and go to sleep. Keep your bedroom cold or cool. 68 degrees is what I try to keep mine at. I keep my sheets really, really clean. I'm one that pulls every last bit of bedding off of the bed and washes it every single week like clockwork, because it just pills up. You get skin. It just doesn't feel as good after a week. So, and I keep my bed as nice as possible so that it's comfortable to sleep in, because it's where you spend a third of your life. Now, also, in preparing for the next day, you want to actually think about what's going to happen the next day. I know I got interrupted doing this a couple of times, but one of the things that I would want to do is kind of look through my calendar for tomorrow and see what needs to be done. I'd probably even block out some time. For example, tomorrow I'm supposed to spend most of the day working for one client. I don't really feel like they have enough work to keep me busy. So I would probably block out a few hours in the morning to touch base with them, make sure everything that I need to do for them has been done, and then possibly even block out some time later in the day to do things like prepare postcards for mailing, or oh geez, it's the end of the day, I can't hardly think, or to work on other clients, make sure that I'm getting everything done for each client. I don't like to even think that something might be missed. And so I do block out time for everything. I block out time to work out. I block out time to meditate. I block out time to do some personal development. And it doesn't have to be a lot, but it does kind of show me, how little time I actually have in a 16-hour day. If you need help dealing with your daily routines, some people do. I mean, I have trouble remembering to eat lunch. I have trouble remembering to eat breakfast. I would have trouble remembering dinner if I didn't have teenagers. But you kind of create your own routines, and you block that time out, and you can set up reminders even that it will go off and tell you that, okay, this is what you need to be doing now. You can use your calendar. Google Calendar, of course, is ubiquitous, but you can use whatever calendar you want to kind of block out the time and then prepare for what you're going to do for the next day. Now, like I said, I'm very particular about wearing the appropriate clothes for the appropriate activity that I know of. I've done things like gone on dates in my 5-inch stiletto heels, only to find out that the gentleman had something that could not be done in stiletto heels in mind. Let's go for a hike. Wasn't prepared for that. So So I like to know what's coming up, because if I have a day full of meetings, I'm going to dress very differently than if I'm just sitting here and I'm working. The whole point of the calendar, by the way, is to make appointments with yourself that you will not break. And then at the end of the day, you're done. Just be done. I'm looking through the Life Hacker link, and I'm kind of chuckling. Since I work at home, it's really easy for my house to get neglected, especially when I work outside of the house. It's easy for the house to get neglected because I'm focused on what's going on right here at my desk. So you might even need to schedule your chores on your calendar, just so that you know, again, you don't want anything to fall through the cracks. Time with your kids, time with your spouse, picking up the mail. I have never done this. I do remember to pick up my mail, once a week or so. But I do know people that have forgotten to pick up the mail for like 3 weeks. And I have a small mailbox, so after a while it's pretty full. It says, a reminder to take out the trash. I have a teenager for that. I do have a reminder to sit down and plan the meals for the week and to go to the grocery store. But once you kind of structure your day, time for deep work, time for shallow work, time to make phone calls, time to answer letters or answer emails, time to work on what I call paid work, which is I do bookkeeping. That's what I get paid to do. But I have a lot of support work that I don't get paid to do that I also need to do. So I try to schedule all of that in. So anyway, kind of figure out what your day is going to look like for the next day or even the next week, and then you can kind of plan when you need to be up. And you do want to get up at the same time every day. It kind of makes it easier for your body to kind of get used to it. One of the tricks, though, is to go to bed early, and I struggle with that. Anyhow, that's about it. I apologize for all the interruptions earlier. I'm really excited. I've got 2 books coming on Friday that I'm really excited to get. They're from Dragon Tree Apothecary, and one is called Rituals for Transformation, and the other one's called The Dream Book. And I am so excited to get them. They're to do deep personal work. I printed out some of the pages. They have one module that's available as a PDF. And it's actually challenging, really challenging work. It's hard for me to look 3 or 5 years into the future and see, decide what I want my life to look at, because I just don't look that far in the future. I have a hard time looking forward to next month. But if you don't have a vision of the future, if you don't have a dream, how are you ever going to have a dream come true, right? So if you don't have a vision of the future, how will you know when you get there? And so that's kind of what I'm working on all aspects of my life. This one actually has career and influence. Let me back up just a little bit. Until I've been working on it, scribbled all over everything. And I put all of my negative feelings in it as well. One of the things that asked me what my gifts are, and I actually put in, I don't know if I have any, because that's how I was feeling right then. Now, I'm pretty good at creating organization out of chaos, which I guess makes me a goddess, because that's what gods do. But the main areas that it refers to are physical wellness, psychological and spiritual health, and how incredibly important is that? And we always forget it. Creation, exploration, and play, another thing that I never quite schedule into my day. Community connection, livelihood, career and influence, and relationship and family. And I was looking at the list and going, wow, I don't do a lot of that. I do some of my personal wellness, but I could do more, even in the in the time that I have. We all could, I guess. Psychological and spiritual health, I struggle with. I'm actually very prone to depression, and I'm very, very prone to anxiety. And on top of that, I have ADHD, right? So it's kind of important for me to remember to take care of myself spiritually and psychologically. And that means that I need to do, I have so many books on emotions and cognitive behavioral therapy and spirituality and getting close to God. And I do know how to meditate, and I do know to do yoga, and I know to do a lot of this stuff, and then I don't do it. So the idea of working on all of this is to get myself back into the groove of really taking care of all aspects of myself. I've been very, very focused on livelihood, career, and influence, and really on livelihood and career. So this has been an important thing for me to look at and to work on to really start consciously developing my relationships, consciously work on developing my relationships with my kids, with my significant other, with the community, with my friends. I don't get invited to a lot of things, and I think it's because that my friends don't realize that I actually want to go. So I'm trying to figure out how to change that pattern. And I'm huge on, I really think people get in habits, and sometimes you need to interrupt the pattern. So that's really what I'm working on a lot right now. I am preparing to go back to school, so this is a really great way of me to prepare for that. And another thing that I'm working on to prepare for back to school is to remind myself how to concentrate. And I think I'm going to do a whole nother video on that one. Concentration is kind of a lost art. I really struggle with it. I am constantly messing with my smartphone. I'm constantly, I'll be reading something for just a couple of minutes. Something uncomfortable will come up, and I want to change. I want to change tracks. So I'm trying to remember. I used to be really good at concentrating. I used to be so good at concentrating that my peers would have to actually tap me on the shoulder to remind me that I needed to eat. So I'm trying to remember how to maintain that concentration again. It is a little bit of a trek, especially in today's world. I mean, we have so many things that are trying to get our attention. We have our phones, we have our tablets, we have our computers, we have social media, we have the idea that anything that needs to be said can be said in 140 characters or less, which I absolutely don't agree with. Everything is a soundbite today, and so there's no in-depth thinking that's going on with a lot of people. I don't mean everybody. I'm sure there's people out there really deeply thinking, but we're so busy that we forget to do that, and it's a skill. So I am in the middle of learning how to concentrate again. I am going to keep this short today, especially since this is the third video I've done today because I kept getting interrupted. And sometimes those interruptions are just wonderful. It was great to talk to my daughter. It was great to talk to my grandchildren. It was important, so I went ahead and took calls. I really needed to talk to her and get some information from her, so that's perfectly all right. So what do you do, by the way? What do you do to prepare for the next day? What's your evening routine like? Mine is pretty much to get off the computer, to go up to my room, possibly take a warm bath with lavender Epsom salts, to have ice water nearby, usually in this. I take some medication. There's a couple of medicines I take at night, and then I turn on a blue light blocker on my tablet and I read for an hour, or I will use a hard copy book and read for an hour as I'm getting ready for bed. So, and I always wear, I have specific clothes to sleep in. I brush my hair, I wash my face, take off all the makeup. If you saw me on Instagram last night, you would have seen me without any makeup, and that's kind of a rarity. I have some makeup on right now, but a lot of it was taken off because I went to my esthetician today and she did a facial on me and waxed all the hair off. So what do you do to help keep yourself on track? What's your evening routine look like? I would really love to know. I'd like to talk about it more. And I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Have a wonderful Wednesday.